Welcome to the ZebraZapps editor Creating and Manipulating Visual Objects tutorial Part 2. In Part 2 of this tutorial, we cover the Path and Polygon tools. I've logged into ZebraZapps and have opened a new blank project. The workspace is currently in Event Flow view. Let's edit Event 1. Do this by clicking the Edit button. This will switch to Stage View. First, we'll be looking at the Path tool. After selecting the Path tool, you will see a settings area open in the bottom of the toolbox. Here you will be able to set the smoothing for the Path tool. Let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to drag the slider all the way over to the left, move over to the stage. While holding the left mouse button down, I'm just going to start drawing the path. To end, I double click. As you can see, this created a number of points to create that path. This is when smoothing is set to its highest value. To exit the edit mode, click the Enter key. Next we'll go back to the Path tool and we'll change the smoothing to a middle setting, and we'll do the same thing. Double click to end. As you can see, we have less points that have been created. We'll do this once more and we'll set it to least smooth. Double click to end. As you can see, we have the fewest points now. Let's select these objects and delete them. Next we'll take a look at two different drawing modes for the Path tool. I'll click the Path tool. Let's set the smoothing to a midpoint. The first one we're going to look at is free draw. So holding the left mouse button down, as you draw, it's just following the cursor to create your path. Hit the Enter key to exit edit mode. We'll do it again. We'll be using a different mode. This is rubber band mode. Here we click once to establish an initial point, move our cursor wherever we'd like, click again to create a point, click again to create a point. If we hold the Shift key down, we'll constrain our points to 45 degrees. So here we'll click, and this makes perfectly square lines. Again, double click to end and enter to exit. So these are the two drawing modes for the Path tool. I'm going to select all and we'll delete this. Now let's look at how these can be combined into one, more of a mixed mode, if you will. We'll select the drawing tool. We'll start out with the rubber band mode, so we'll click, establish a second point with a straight line, click, and now we'll just hold our mouse button down and we'll go into free draw, lift it up, and now we go back into rubber band mode, click and hold, and go back into free draw, and then double click to end draw mode. Let's take a closer look at the path we've created. We're going to zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. If you can't see the points, that means we're not in edit mode, so we can select the object and double click it. And now when you see the points, that means we're in edit mode. There are two types of points. One is a circular point. The other is a triangle point. The circular points actually draw a curved line between the points, as you can see here. The triangle points will draw a straight line between the two. when you go from a circle to a triangle, it starts out curved and then flattens out to a straight line when it reaches the triangle point. Now we can select points, and if we decide that we need this to be a triangle point, then we can just select it. It turns blue. We click it, turns into a triangle, and now if we wanted to move that point, you can see now we have a sharp corner for that point. Again, because it's selected, if I click it once, it turns back into a circle point and has a rounded corner to it. If we'd like to add points anywhere along the line, we just click on the line, and that will create a new path. We'll hit the Z key a few times to undo that. Or if we'd like to delete points, we can just select them and hit the delete key. We can use the selection tool to select multiple points and delete those as well. Again, we're currently in edit mode, so to exit this mode, just hit the enter key or the escape key. We can also go to the inspector with the path object selected and add a fill. Currently the fill opacity is 0. We can change that, bring it up to 100, click on the color chip, and select a new color if we'd like. Let's go back to 100% view. Again, anytime we want to edit the points on this path object, we just double click it or select it and hit the E key, and we can make modifications to the path. Hit enter to exit the edit mode. Next we'll be looking at the polygon tool. The polygon tool is very similar to the path tool, but it allows us to create polygons, and so currently we have selected a 3-sided polygon. I can change the number of sides to create. We could go to 6, or we could go to 10. Let's go back to 3. Once you've selected the number of sides, you can just move over to the stage and then draw out the size of the polygon you'd like. So very similar to the path tool, if we want to edit this, we can select it and hit the E key, and that will put us in edit mode. Just like we learned with the path tool, we can select points, change their type. We can add points, or delete points. To exit edit mode, just hit the enter key. This concludes the tutorial on creating and editing visual content objects, part 2.